Hello, welcome back to Farmbiz with Markay. In today's video, I'll be showing you what it will take you to install automatic nipple drinker system for 100 broilers. Now, the basic accessories you'll be needing for this installation, number one, which is the main thing, is these nipple drinkers. Now, the cost of these nipple drinkers as at the time of making this video is about 560 naira. So for one, but for this 100 broilers that will be installing these nipple drinkers for, we'll be needing about 12 of them to make this installation. Now these are the main thing, because this is where the chicks or the bears drink from. Now another thing we'll be also making use of in this installation, which is also very, very important, is this 3/4 PVC pipe. And the length of this 3/4 PVC pipe is about 7 feet and some inches, and we'll be needing about 3 of them for this installation. We'll be needing about 2.5 to 3 of them, and the cost of each of them is each of this 3/4 pipe is about 900 naira as at the time of making this video. Now, another important thing we'll also be needing for this installation is this 20 liters paint rubber that will be making use of this in this video. Though there is a separate tank meant for this nipple drinkers installation. The cost of that tank is about 13,500. So I don't want to somehow increase the cost of this installation, because I'm looking for ways to drastically reduce the cost of installation of this automatic nipple drinker system. So that is why I opt for this paint rubber. Now, the cost of this paint rubber as at the time of making this video is about 3,000 naira as at the time of making this video. So this is what we will be using for the installation. Now, another important thing we'll be using for this installation is this flow valve. Now, because of the shape of this our tank that we want to use for the installation, we decided to opt for this. There are other ones that you can use for a rectangular tank that is not as high as this, because this will be standing in the tank like this, because as the water flows, this floater here goes up and it gets to a point, it will shut off the inlet, thereby stopping the flow of water into the tank. That is how this works, and the cost of this as at today is about 2,400 naira as at the time of making this video. Now, another thing you also need is this 3/4 to 1/2 inch female socket. Why is it called 3/4 to 1/2 inch? This end of the socket is 3/4, while this other end is threaded, 1/2 inch threaded. In other words, this is where you fit in the nipple in case you want to attach the flex hose to your installation. This is where you screw in the nipple and then attach your flex hose to this end. So this is called 3/4 to 1/2 inch threaded socket. So the cost of this is 200 naira as at the time of making this video. Now, another important thing you also be needing for this installation is this flex hose. And the cost of this one is about 500 naira as at the time of making this video. Normally, when you purchase this flex hose, it normally comes with this nipple. It comes with one nipple. So, just for you to be able to join 2 or more of it together. So, for this installation, we'll be making use of 6 of them. That is the cost of the flex we'll be using for our installation is about 3,000 naira. Now, that is that. Now, another thing we'll also be making use of is the normal 3/4 socket. The purpose of this socket is to join 2 or more 3/4 pipes together. That is the purpose of this. Now, you can see this is somehow different. It's totally different from this other 1/2 inch to 3/4 to 1/2 inch female socket. This is not threaded. It's plain at both ends. So it's meant to join 2 or more pipes together, because one pipe won't be enough. That is why we have to buy this. And for this installation, we'll be making use of 2 of them. So the cost of this one is 200 naira each. So we'll be making use of 2, making the cost of the 3/4 socket 400 naira for the installation. So you also need this, which is the black seal. We'll be using for the installation to prevent leakages from the tank. This is it. Now, the cost of this is about 50 naira, 100 naira, as the case may be, depending on the cost in your area. Now, we'll be making use of about 3 or 4 of this to stop leakages from the tank. So, another thing we also need is this thread tape. This is very, very important, thread tape. And for the purpose of this installation, you may not need something as big as this. You could go for the one of about 400 naira, because that will even be enough for you to do your installation, and you still have leftover. The cost of this is about 400. Now, where do you use this? You use this to thread, to round this thread before screwing in your flex hose to prevent leakages. Now, you also need to use it to thread around this other end where water goes into the tank before screwing in your flex hose. This is very important to prevent leakages. Now, you join 2 or more pipes together, depending on the length of your installation. So that is where this gum comes in, PVC gum. And the cost of this PVC gum as of today is about 1,400 naira for this PVC gum. This is very, very important. And if you want to know how to do this whole installation, I already did a video in my channel up here. You can check that video out in my channel on how to install nipple drinkers with tank. I explain in details there how to do the installation step by step. It's what anybody can do in case you want to give it a try. It's very, very easy to install. Now, when you discover this is the tank I used before, and now in order to easily fit in this where water comes into where water goes out to the 3/4 pipe where you install your nipple drinkers. Now, I went to where I bought normally buy these accessories for the installation. I couldn't really get something to really do that will prevent leakage. So I got something like this that has something like Cobb, but that has hole through that I can push in from inside to fit in my outlet pipe, so that it will go to my 3/4 pipe. Now, another way you could also do that, from the shop there, I was able to look around. This is bad. This is not working well again, so they just like dispose it off. But I looked at it and I observed that I'll be able to make good use of this for this installation. So it was given to me free. So to make use of this for the installation, I'll need to cut this off, cut this side off, and then make use of this side. Push it in from the tank from inside, and then use the plastic nuts to tighten after putting the black seal I talked about. After putting the seal, both from inside and outside, use the screw, something like this. Use it to tighten it firmly to prevent leakages. Now, before tightening it, you need to apply some thread tape here before tightening it firmly from the outside, so to prevent leakages. So another component you also need for this installation is 1/2-inch ball valve. You need 1/2-inch ball valve. There are times maybe you want to wash the tank, or you want to stop the water from going to the nipple drinkers to apply medication and all of that. There is need to shut off the water and then apply your medication before coming to turn it on again. Now, that is where you make use of either this angle valve you are seeing on the screen now, or this 1/2-inch ball valve. You can actually make good use of this for this installation. Now, another component you also need is 3/4 ball valve. You also need that to discharge the water, because there are times you need to flush the nipple drinkers line. To do that, you need to open the outlet where the water can go out from, and then when you are done, you lock it again. So you need one 3/4 ball valve. You need 1/2-inch ball valve for this installation. And the cost of 1/2-inch ball valve, as at the time of recording this video, is about 400 naira. While that of 3/4 ball valve is about 600 naira. Okay, for this installation also, we also need something like this. This is a 1/2-inch socket. 1/2-inch socket. So this is called 1/2-inch socket because this side is threaded 1/2-inch, while this other side is still 1/2-inch. Unlike the other one, that this side is 3/4 and this other side is 1/2-inch threaded. But this particular one has one side threaded 1/2-inch, while the other side is still 1/2-inch. Now this is where our 1/2-inch pipe comes in. Now this the length of this 1/2-inch you might be needing for this installation is something very short. You need this because when you are installing a 1/2-inch ball valve, this has to go into the outlet like this. This screw in here, Then why the 1/2 inch pipe comes in here with glue, then you cut it short, then install your 1/2 inch ball valve, and then this other stuff like this again goes to the other end for you to be able to install your ball valve to flex hose that will not take water to the 3/4 pipe that will not feed your nipple drinker system. So you need two of these, and the cost of this as of today is about 200 naira each. So you also need 2 of these for that installation. And then you need let me say 3/4 length. You don't need something as short as this. Very, very short. So if you talk to them where at the plumbing shop, they may be able to, if they may see something like this, to give you. Otherwise, you might need to buy half length, and the cost of one full length is about 600 naira as of today. So for this installation also, the last thing I think you will need is this 2x2 wood that you place on top of the pipe when you are installing it. This is to prevent the birds from breaking the pipe, because as the chicks grow older, they will definitely want to perch on the pipe. So once they perch on the pipe, most of them perch on it, and the weight is much for them. Before you know it, the pipe will get broken and your pen will be messed up. So to avoid that, it's always good to either put an angle iron or 2x2 wood along like this, and then find a way to tie it to the pipe to prevent such incidents from happening. So that is basically all you need for this installation. Now, in case you are not able, you don't have the chance, you are not able, you don't really know how to do this installation, you can actually employ the services of somebody to do the whole installation for you. But it's something I can assure you that if you go through that my video on how to install this nipple drinkers with tank, it's something you can do easily. Now, but in case you want to involve somebody to help you do the installation after buying the accessories, they shouldn't charge more than 5,000 naira for the installation. Now, this brings us to about 25 to 30,000 naira for this whole installation, which is somehow fair enough, because these nipple drinkers can serve you for years and it will still be working very well. But for the manual drinkers, just as I explained in my last video, within it might not take you that much, because especially when it falls to the ground while lifting the water, it will break. I've observed that severally, so I decided to go for the automatic nipple drinkers. I know some of us might be thinking, this automatic drinking system is for big farm because it's costly to install and all of that. So I want to clear that confusion, because it's not really costly to get it installed. With between 20 to 25, 30,000, you are good to go with this installation for 100 beds. Now imagine you want to install for about 200, 300 beds. You know, okay, one nipple drinker is for 8 or 10 matured broilers. So you need to use that number to calculate it, to know the number of nipple drinkers you need to install. So this is all I have for you today in this video. If you find this video helpful, kindly do well to hit the subscribe button, like and comment in the comment section below, as this will do a whole lot for us in helping us to grow our channel and reach a larger audience. Thank you so much. I love you. Thank you.